Hello. And my co-speaker, my co-presenter is Jesse Reynolds.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
So my name is Kaitlin Maciejewski, and I'm a biostatistician at the Yale Center for Analytical Sciences.
And my name is Jesse Reynolds, and I'm also a biostatistician at the Yale Center for Analytical Sciences, or YCAS, and I'm also the director of the ClinicalTrials.gov team at Yale University.
So YCAS houses the ClinicalTrials.gov team at Yale, which is the centralized office for ClinicalTrials.gov for the institution. And I created this clinical trials dashboard with Shiny to help our office track registration and results.
So the Food and Drug Administration Amendments Act, or FDAA, in 2007 was passed as a law that requires certain clinical trials to report results, and it effectively came into force for all trials due after January 2018 under the final rule, which was passed in 2017. Since 2021, the FDA and the NIH have increased citations and notifications for institutions with noncompliance with reporting results on clinicaltrials.gov. Many studies still do not submit results to clinicaltrials.gov. Some do not publish results after 3 years following study completion even.
However, institutions are limited by a system which provides useful data, but additional steps are required to effectively track and monitor ongoing activity or plan for future actions. The data that administrators can download from the Protocol Registration and Results System, or PRS, is not simple to utilize for tracking. Some institutions develop their own programs and procedures that may not be reproducible elsewhere.
And there are already transparency groups out there like the FDAA Trials Tracker that summarize compliance with mandated reporting. And this is done to motivate academic institutions as well as private companies to improve compliance. Private companies like Trial Assure have developed software to monitor compliance, but these come with a cost. And to date, there is a lack of low-cost solutions to help institutions remain compliant.
So our clinical trials dashboard aims to increase compliance by making tracking, registration, and results simple, transparent, and reproducible.
So here's how we're using it at Yale. So the CTGov dashboard can help us determine the activity in the institution's PRS, which is the Protocol Registration and Results Reporting System. It can allow us to plan and communicate with study teams about future actions. It can also put all the information in one place so that we can do administrative tasks like mail merges. It can also help us determine how many NIH studies are actually in the system and when the results will be due. We use the dashboard for a prospective 3-month data set download, which allows us to look at studies that have required annual updates due. Those are studies that are required to be verified or updated at least once every 12 months. We look at studies that have results due with primary results, which is results based on the primary completion date, all study results, which is based on the study completion date. And we also look at whether or not these are applicable clinical trials or ACT or National Institute of Health funded or NIH defined. The data elements that we have can be used with mail merges, and the required fields are now included, and these required fields are included in the download. When we look at the data set of review actions, it allows us to capture all the CTGov team record approvals. Those are the folks that work with myself. It helps us determine how many studies we've registered in the last period of time using the initial release date. And it also determines how many results were submitted when we look at the initial results release date. We can track the successful submission of records. So for registration, we look to see if records were submitted and accepted and then made public within two or fewer tries, which is the clinicaltrials.gov standard for a successful completion on first try. We use graphic displays that can be included in reports. So we have line graphs that can show trends of various metrics like time to registration and so forth. And with each one of these with registration, we can look at the average days to register, the average number of submissions before its approval, the percent success on the first try, again, which was defined as 2 or fewer tries to submit, as well as the average days to publish, which allows us to see how long it takes clinicaltrials.gov to actually publish the records we submit once they're approved. With respect to results, we can also look to see which of our results records were accepted and made public with 2 or fewer tries, again, defined as the first try. And then graphic displays can also be included for results reporting. So we could look at line graphs of trends of various metrics, like the average day to publish our results, the average number of submissions before approval, the % success on first try, and also the average days to publish on CT.gov. So kind of recapping the things we use the dashboard for, we have graphic displays that can be customized into subgroups. So we could look at the study type. So if we do have some observational studies in there, we also have tissue banks and other things, but we can look at the interventional studies, which is our most, our most frequent type of record. We can look at the study phases. Phase 2 or greater are what are considered applicable clinical trials using a drug, device, or biologic. We could look at the intervention types. So we could break down our NIH-funded research, for example, to look at how many are just true behavioral interventions. We can look to see whether or not these are applicable clinical trials and or whether or not they're NIH-funded. All the toggles can be used in different combinations. So we could look at NIH interventional studies with behavioral interventions, just those alone. So we can drill down to that. And then the graphic displays can then be customized by a date range. So we could look within the last year, 2 years, 4 years, et cetera. And we can show them in different aggregations. So we could look at a monthly number, we could look at a quarterly number, or we could look at a 6-month number as well.
And then if you follow this QR code, it'll go to our Shiny app demo. So this is the landing page when you first go to the clinical trials reporting dashboard. An administrator would upload the CSV files that they download from the PRS system, and then the dashboard merges, aggregates, and flags studies for review. This left side includes simple instructions for a user about what files to download and what the dashboard can do. And for this presentation, I already have sample data automatically uploaded. So it says files are successfully loaded, and then we click go. So the dashboard starts with a tour to guide users through the different options. So we're going to step through it. First, we can select dates to view for the graphs and the data. This would allow us to choose the date aggregation. These are filters that we could toggle for things like the study type, the record status, if we want to look at those that are NIH grants or FDA status. And then there's 2 main reports that this can download, including a PDF report, which shows the registration and results plots as generated using the sidebar. So the default shows monthly summary of a year, and information about prospective results or updates in the next 3 months are also included. This prospective data set will return a CSV file with information about studies that have updates or results expected within 3 months, and the contact information for central contact and record owner and other variables in the problem list are also included. And these are used for the mail merge that we send out. Help will bring back up the info guide. The application tour will start the tour again. And if you need to change the data that's loaded, you can return to the data load with this button. So the data plots and tables that are shared include those used for registration and results. So registration shows plots for average numbers of days to first publish a record registration, average numbers of tries, the % of records successful after 2 rounds of tries, and the average response time from ClinicalTrials.gov. And it also has the table format below, and these tables are what show up in the PDF report. The results tab has the same sort of data, but additional information for results published within 12 months from the end of the study and number of days past primary completion until the results were published. So as you can see, these are using Plotly, so you can you know, the graphs you can interact with. You can change, say, the date aggregation, and things will update. You can.
Looks like we are running out of time.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Right.
over time. But anyway, that's the demo. And please contact us if you have any questions. Thank you.